Chris, we're going to take some, or Matthew, we're going to take some from the broadcast journalists at the back of the room, but I want some questions from people here as well. So, gentlemen here, Mr. Ragshaw.
National debt. Currently, national debt is costing us £5,000 a second, which is £400 million a day. I've looked back over your record over the last 5 years. When will you get this country into surplus?
We're going to do that by 2018. What we've done is the national deficit, which is the annual overdraft, right? When we got in, it was about 10% of our national economy. It's now below 5%, so we cut it in half. But it's no good if you don't have a date for clearing that overdraft altogether. So we've said 2018, by then we should be putting money aside for a rainy day. And that means that you're going to be reducing the size of the overall debt that's outstanding. And the point you make, sir, is so important. If we don't do this, it's not just that we're loading our children up with debt that they won't be able to pay. We also have to spend so much on debt interest. You know, debt interest is already almost the size of the school's budget. And that's no way to spend our money. I want to spend money on British schools and British hospitals, not send it to Chinese bondholders on the other side of the world. So that's why our plan, balanced plan, to get the deficit down is so important. Eradicated by 2018. Let's take Michael Mates from, sorry, not Michael Mates, James. Flashback there. James Mates from ITV.
Prime Minister, the Times today says save Nick Clegg. Conservative voters in Sheffield may be about to save Nick Clegg. Are you going to need him for the deal-making that seems certain to follow this election?
I have a very clear message for anyone in a Liberal Democrat held seat, and that is vote Conservative. And I'll tell you why. If you vote Liberal Democrat, you don't know what you're going to get. Nick Clegg was very clear at the weekend, he's just as likely to support an Ed Miliband SNP government that will bring the country, in my view, to a shuddering halt, than he is to support the Conservatives. So if you prefer, he is your Prime Minister, vote Conservative. Don't leave it to chance, wherever you are. Let's have Faisal Islam from Channel 4, and then I'll take some more questions from the audience.
Prime Minister, can you confirm, there's a big debate already starting about legitimacy after the election. Can you confirm that if the largest party cannot form a government, it is constitutionally, legally legitimate for another party to try to form a government?
Well, Faisal, you're in the prediction business, and you can make lots of predictions in the next 36 hours. I tell you what I'm in. I'm in the business of saying to people, including to people here, don't talk about predicting the future, shape the future with your vote. There's still time to determine the outcome of this election. That's what the next 36 hours are about. The Conservatives, we have 303 constituencies. If we hold those, including here in Hendon, and we win 23 more, we can make sure the country continues to move forward with the Conservative government. That is my message, and I'm not going to get into predictions. I'm in the business of trying to shape the future by encouraging people to seize it with both hands and vote for the outcome they want. Gentlemen, yes.
Yeah, so that's quite interesting because it comes into my question, because one of the areas that continues to disappoint me as a voter is that politicians' avoidance of straight answer to a straight question. George Osborne was asked last night, once again, where 12 million capital was going to come from. And once again, we weren't given an answer. My question is, why should I vote for something that you won't tell me about?
Well, first of all, let me come back to this. Let me come back to this question about the outcome of the election. What you know with me, because I fell short in 2010, we didn't win an overall majority, I put the country first, I formed a coalition, I did what was right to do strong government for Britain. So I'd always put the country first, but I do think it's fair in the last 36 hours to just spend the time trying to persuade people rather than talk about the future. Now, on to welfare. What we're saying is that we need to save money on welfare, half as much as we did in the last Parliament, where we saved £20 billion. We need to save another 12. And like any government in history, we've actually said where a large part of that is coming from. We said we're going to freeze unemployment and other work-related benefits for 2 years. That is a bigger cut, a bigger move than any other party has made at this election, a huge way. Now, the rest of the money comes from continuing to get the country back to work, off unemployment benefit into work. We get money by saying to young people, and this is a tough choice, saying to young people, it will no longer be possible to leave school, sign on, get housing benefit, and start a life on welfare. You either have to be earning or learning. That's the sort of country we want to create. We go on with universal credit. When I became Prime Minister, some people, if they worked an extra hour or an extra shift, they actually lost money. Now, universal credit, when it comes in for the whole of the country, means every hour you work, you always keep more money. So all of these changes will help deliver the savings. But there is a choice. Frankly, sir, if you think, let's keep welfare as it is, keep on with an unreformed system, and instead put up people's taxes, that's Ed Miliband. If you want to reform welfare, save money on welfare and get the country back to work, that's me. Let's have
Prime Minister, do you agree with Ian Duncan Smith when he says that voting for UKIP is the equivalent of writing a suicide note?
I think that Ian Duncan Smith is absolutely right. If you vote UKIP, you are likely to let in a Labour Member of Parliament and a Labour government that will give you the exact opposite of what you want. If you want this country to have a choice over its membership of the European Union, you need a Conservative government led by me. If you want to have sensible controls on immigration, where we keep people coming to our country and making a great contribution, but it's better controlled, you need me as your Prime Minister. So if you vote UKIP and you get Labour, as I put it before, you go to bed with Nigel Farage and wake up with Ed Miliband. I don't know about you, but no part of that really works for me. That's what happens. So vote for the outcome. At the end of the day, is either me as Prime Minister or Ed Miliband as Prime Minister. If you have a preferred choice of those two, vote for it. Don't take a risk. Let's have I've got some balance here. The lady over here.
Do you think the UK's current democracy crippling voter apathy is caused by the fact that its Prime Minister, Mayor of the capital and Chancellor were all in the same class at school, are all industriously dismantling the nation's assets and selling them off to their mates? All related to banking families and have been proven over and over again to be singly self-interested in every political decision.
I would say, Madam, thank you. Look, first of all, it's good we have lively questions, light questions. I don't want to control the rest. What I'd say to you, Madam, is I would say judge us on our record. 2 million more people in work in our country, the deficit cut by half, an economy growing faster than the rest of the European Union, and frankly, a choice that we made when I became Prime Minister and we got this note saying there's no money left. What was the choice we made? We said we're going to invest in our NHS every single year, more money. That was a difficult choice to make because we inherited such a mess. But we said, yes, we're going to have to make difficult decisions elsewhere. We will have to make savings. We will have to reform welfare. But the NHS gets more money. That wasn't a Lib Dem policy. That wasn't a Labour policy. That was a David Cameron Conservative policy. It was the right thing to do.
Prime Minister, I want to jump in and say, while I am part of the Conservative team, I certainly never went to private school, and certainly many other MPs didn't as well.
Thank you very much.
Yes, jump in.
It's absolutely true. I can't hide it from you. It is absolutely true. I must admit, I did go to the same school as the party leader. There's no getting away from it. No getting away from it. And yes, I went to the same primary school as Ed Miliband. And I think you might as well ask about the sinister grip of Primrose Hill Primary School. I don't think the people in this country care about where you come from. What they care is what you're doing, what you're saying to the country, and how you're going to take it forward. That's the issue. That's the issue.
I just want to ask about university tuition fees actually, because obviously you were saying about obviously getting people, apprenticeships and back into work and everything, but I mean that is obviously one big issue that they are continually going up and up, and obviously there's a catch-22 situation there. So
what are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
Well, we made a difficult choice, which is that I want us to have really well-funded universities that are amongst the best in the world, so when our young people choose to go to them, they're going to get a great education and they're going to be able to compete with anyone else in the world. And that costs money, and that can only come from either the taxpayers as a whole, which means some people haven't had the chance to go to university and pay for that, or it comes from successful graduates who pay back the money after they've left. So what we have is a system with no upfront fees. Once you're earning £21,000, you start paying back the money. You don't pay back in full, so you're earning £35,000. And I think that's fair. But the proof of the policy is in what's happened. Last year in our country, 500,000 young people went to university. That's the highest number ever in our history. And more people from underprivileged backgrounds and low-income backgrounds went to university than ever before. So I believe the policy is working. And the politicians that say to you, I'll cut the fees and I'll change this and all of that, they're not being straight with you. You'll have worse universities, you won't have proper performing universities, and students will get a rougher deal. I say, let's have a real choice. Apprenticeships expanded and improved, and uncapped university places, so as many young people who want to go can go. No cap on aspiration under a Conservative government. That's what I promise. Okay, let's have Andy Bell from Channel 5.
Thank you. Thank you, Prime Minister. Andy Bell, 5 News. You just said that last time you fell short. Do you accept that if you fail to win the majority this time, you will have fallen short again, and people are entitled to say, time for a new leader, maybe the man on your left?
Well, Andy, as I say, you want us to talk about Andy, you want us to talk about the what-ifs and the wherefores and what might happen on Friday. I've got a different agenda. I say let's spend Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday determining the outcome of this election. You can talk to me about predictions and was I right and am I short and all the rest of it on Friday. But between... Am I short? But between now and then, get out there and fight for the things that we believe in. People have still got a chance to shape this election. That's the key point. Last question, let's have right there at the back. Sure, hold on, microphone coming to you. Here it is.
I heard of your promises about things like right to buy and new houses for people, but there was a study out yesterday that says you have to be earning $77,000 in London to have any hope of buying a house. For those of us stuck in generation rent and stuck with private landlords, what are you going to do to help us?
Right, okay, very good question. Well, I want to make it easier and better to rent and easier and better to buy. So starting with rent, we should make sure that there are different forms of tenancy, and there's longer tenancies if you want them, and also greater transparency over the fees that you can be charged and all the rest of it, because I think sometimes tenants get a bad deal. And we've got to go on, and maybe Boris will say something about this, investing in homes for rent in our capital, which is exactly what we're doing. I say let's not give up on the idea of being able to buy and own your home. So we're going to build these starter homes, 80% of the market price, and crucially we're going to carry on with the Help to Buy scheme. That when I became Prime Minister, you couldn't get a 95% mortgage. You had to have a 25% deposit. Now, people, including people in London, couldn't raise that sort of money. Help to Buy means a 5% deposit, and so people are now able to get on the housing ladder. So let's do that, but also, I believe in giving council, housing association tenants the right to buy their home. Every one of those that does that becomes a homeowner, achieves their dream, and the money from that sale can go into more houses, more building, to make sure that here in our capital city, more people can get a home. Final point, there are council homes here in London that are worth £600,000, £700,000, £800,000, £900,000. And we're saying that councils should sell off their most expensive properties when they become vacant. But think of what you can do with £900,000. Think of how many flats you can build with that to make sure young people get a chance, get a home to rent or buy. So it's a fully worked out costing programme that will make a big difference here in the capital. Over to you, Boris.
Well, I completely agree with what Prime Minister said, but we're now building more homes in London than at any time since the early 1980s. We've built a record number of affordable homes, and it's not just homes for rent and homes to buy. To help particularly people such as yourself, who maybe not on huge incomes, it is absolutely crucial that you should be helped with part-by-part rent schemes. And what we've seen is, since in the last 5 or 6 years, we've helped 50,000 people to get a share in the value of their property. And that's through the First Steps scheme. And I urge you, that's when it comes far lower than £77,000. We're talking about half of that. So there is subsidised accommodation for part-by-part rent schemes that can help you onto the housing ladder. That means that a share in the London property market is for everybody. That is the crucial thing that we're trying to achieve. And I get back to the key point I was trying to make earlier on. We're going to build record numbers of homes over the next years. Look around this place, look over there. Look at the homes being built here in Collider. The cranes are up all over London. It's like some speeded up Walt Disney nature film. Like the return of spring to the Canadian tundra. It's absolutely astonishing. But we want those homes for Londoners, and we want them on brownfield sites, and we can. We can deliver 400,000 homes in the next few years on brownfield sites. But I want Londoners to have a share in the equity of those homes and to be able to own those homes. And all those policies will be targeted at you.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid that is all we've got time for. I've got to head down to the bottom corner of Cornwall to start a final tour of the whole country, going up the west coast, getting to every seat that I can in the next 36 hours. This is such an important election for our country. It is a really big choice for our country. So whatever your view, whoever you believe in, do exercise your right to vote. Get out there, tell us what you think, and vote. It's so important for London, for our country, and for everything we believe in. Thank you very much indeed.